A lot of homes right now, because they've gone up so drastically in value in the past 2 to 3 years, a lot of homes now are at 50% or more in equity on the property. So you're sitting in your now $500,000 house and you owe 250 to 300 on it. You got 200K worth of equity in your property and you're asking now, how do I get started?
Wait a minute, what?
Don't make a ton of sense, right?
Yeah.
Because the key to investing in real estate is you do need some money to invest in real estate.
Check, 1 2 1 2.
Turn it up, turn it up.
Welcome to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast.
The tides are turning, the time is now.
Your home for the mindset, methodology, and tools needed to invest in foreclosures.
Don't you dare buy a house, buy a deal. You need to get into this right now.
Right now, yeah.
And now your host, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Corum.
Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, none other than Donnie Corum. Recording live from our downtown studios with my executive producer, main man, and all-around badass, Mr. Jonathan Winston.
What's going on, everybody? What is up?
What's the haps on the craps?
Man, I'm trying to go to Blackhawk and win some money if you're talking like that. But
Shake it up.
but on a side note, man, I've been feeling real creative here lately. I woke up this morning and did like an hour of writing on just like some, different ideas, kind of putting together some song concepts. And on the way down here, just was kind of running through some of the other songs that I've written previously. Like, oh man, this is actually pretty good, and kind of got some new ideas for those as well. So, just looking to tap into that creative essence in all areas, real estate, music,
Love that,
investing,
man.
everything.
Love that. It's funny you bring up tap because we're talking about tapping that equity.
Oh, I thought you was going to tap.
You see where I'm going with that? There's a little hesitation there. This is still a family show. Get your heads out of the gutter.
Hey, come on, guys.
Damn. Yeah, man. Listen, it's we got a lot going on, and I will tell you that the article that we're reviewing today talks about a third of homes being equity rich, okay? But let me tell you how most of my conversations with would-be real estate investors go, okay? They come in like, man, Donnie, I want to do what you do. I mean, who doesn't, right? I want to be a real estate investor. I want to flip houses. I want to make all that money. I like the cheddar. I like the lifestyle.
Gouda.
Right?
Guap.
You're more like the guap.
Feta.
The feta. I like the cheese, but I don't know how to get started, right? Well, this article from Realtor.com talks about a third of homes are equity rich, okay? And our meeting today, we went over doing stuff that scares you, okay? A lot of homes right now, because they've gone up so drastically in value in the past 2 to 3 years, a lot of homes now are at 50% or more in equity on the property. So you're sitting in your now $500,000 house and you owe 250 to 300 on it. You got 200K worth of equity in your property and you're asking now, how do I get started?
Wait a minute, what?
Don't make a ton of sense, right?
Yeah.
Because the key to investing in real estate is you do need some money to invest in real estate. Now, I want to point out that it doesn't necessarily have to be your money. When I was getting started, I was able to partner up with private investors and I was doing flip deals on splits, meaning I would find the deal, I'd find an investor to fund the deal, and we split the profits. My mentor, the guy that got me started in real estate, Mike Jake, that was our primary element for the first, I'd say 5-6 deals I did in the business was doing equity split deals, okay? Because I had no money. I didn't have near as much equity in homes as I have right now. I was just getting started out. But if you're sitting there right now and you're equity rich, okay, you know darn well the property you're sitting in is worth $500,000, $600,000. If you're in Colorado Springs, Colorado, the average home is now up to $500,000, okay? So if you bought it in the 2 or 3 range 5-6 years ago, you're sitting on a ton of equity right now. But you got to do what scares you. See, the past and what our parents taught us was to save that equity. Hey, with any luck, we can pay off this home, honey, and we won't have a mortgage payment. Won't that be nice?
30 years later.
30 years later, right? That is one option. Listen, that was the generational gap of my parents are still trying to do that. They're still on that. We're going to get this house paid off. They keep refinancing every 5 to 6 years or so. So I don't know how that's ever actually going to happen because they pull out some equity every time they do it. So they're not much further ahead than they started. But if you were to take that equity that you've got in your property and then roll it over into another property, you're sitting on everything you need right now to get started in real estate investing. Right? If you've owned a home for 5 or 6 years, there's a pretty good shot that you've got enough equity to buy your first of many investment properties. Okay? So with the takeaway from this is, how do you get to it? What like it's there, it's sitting there. How do you tap that equity? Right? Because anytime you listen, there's a process, right? When you're trying to tap something and you're up in the bar,
right,
and you see,
oh, wow, there she is.
she's over there at the bar. You got to work at that. There's a process, right? You can't just walk up and go, yo, girl, let me tap that equity.
Let me get in.
Right? She's going to be super confused if you say tap that equity, right? They're pretty good shot. You're going to get an assault charge right then and there, right?
So I'm going to have to use that now.
You're going to use that? Yo, girl, let me tap that equity real quick.
Where do you talk? Doesn't matter. Let me buy you a drink. Would you like a shot?
Let me buy you a drink. But that's valid. You're going to have to make an investment in either time or money to tap your equity, right? You can get a HELOC on it. You can go to your bank and say, and a lot of banks will lend you a HELOC on the property up to 90% of the value.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so I've got one property worth just shy of $1 million. I owe $300,000 on it. I got a HELOC on that property, $500,000, $600,000 I have available to me at any given moment, right? And I use that equity to buy other properties. So I'm not just sitting on the equity like, yo, I got this HELOC, I got $600K worth of spread on the property, right? That's fun at cocktail parties. You can brag to your friends, all that other nonsense. But if you don't do something with that HELOC, what's the point of having it? Right? So you got to do the stuff that scares you. Now, here's the trade-off. What if you can't pay back that HELOC? What if you tap that equity and the equity taps back? Right? What if the market collapses and your property goes down in value? Now you're over leveraged. What if, right? The reality of investing of any sort is that it involves a certain percentage of risk. And I don't sit before you today and tell you that I got it all figured out, that I got this 100% risk tolerance. I got to be frank with you. I'm as worried as you are about this one property that I bought many years ago. Basically scraped together my life savings and bought this property, and I still hold on to this property and the equity in it and go, I don't want to tap that because it scares me. If I get access to those funds and I lose them, my entire net worth could be wrapped up. That mindset is what's holding you back right now. Right? You've got to take any resources you've got, be it financial, knowledge, if you've got a ton of time on your hands, whatever you've got available to you, you've got to use that if you're going to get out of the rat race that you're in right now. If you're in a job that you can't stand, in a career you don't even like, with a degree you wish you hadn't spent 4 years getting, right? You've got to do something about it, or if we fast forward 10 years, you're going to be in the same spot. So maybe tapping your equity was the key element to converting you from the would-be wealthy to the financially independent, actually wealthy. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this article talks about cities where people are sitting on a preposterous amount of equity, like San Jose, 69.4% equity rich.
Wow.
By definition, okay, that means they owe 50% or less than the house's value right now. San Jose, California's up there. San Francisco, 64.9%. Los Angeles, 57.9%. Boise, potato capital of the country, is sitting on 57.4% of their equity right now.
And if you notice, what I notice is that all of those, the top ones are in California, super high markets, super expensive markets, and people are still sitting on equity like that. So.
Yep, right? You got Boston, 43.9, Texas, 52.3, parts of Austin, Texas, excuse me. I mean, it's not on here, but I can only imagine Colorado and surrounding areas got to be 40, 45%. Like, it didn't make the list, but I just know how much equity is in the market right now because of how fast property values have gone up in the last couple of years. And that is your foray into real estate investing. That is your ticket, right? Now, if you didn't buy a house 5-6 years ago, you're listening to this show, you haven't bought a house yet, yeah, you don't have that as a market option, but you've got other options, right? You probably got a decent amount of discretionary time. No, I don't, man. I get a job. Like I get home from work. Man, you get home from work at 4 or 5 o'clock. Right? When I was in the workforce, I would leave my day job. I was going to a kiosk in the mall. I was a newly licensed real estate agent, okay? Had to find a way to build leads and make some money with my real estate license. So I'd work my normal 8-hour day. Then I'd go work at the mall from 5 o'clock to 9 p.m., put another 4 hours in. And I did that for about 18 months, give or take, working 12, 15-hour days until I had enough money coming in from real estate that I didn't have to do that anymore. Okay, so if you're trying to break out of the rat race that you're in, you're either investing time, money, if you have cash sitting around, right, or equity. But you're going to invest something. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Hi, this is Donnie Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. It's important to have good credit when you're buying a foreclosure. A lot of people think you can come in with bad credit, but the fact of the matter is you need pretty stable credit scores to buy a foreclosure deal. So how do you find out how to increase your credit? Well, there's tons of credit repair agencies out there and multiple formulas. But one thing we found that works is reporting your monthly rental payments to the credit bureau. We partnered with rentreporters.com, the leading provider of adding your payment history direct from your landlord onto your credit bureau scores, and it's helping people to boost their scores up to 40 points in as little as 30 days. So to get started, I want you to head on out to www.foreclosuredealscoach.com. Now that's a messenger bot, and you're going to use the keyword rent to get more information about Rent Reporters and how you can boost your credit score by getting your rental reported to the credit bureaus. Once again, Donnie Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. Check it out. And the opportunity right now, if you're a homeowner, to invest that equity has never been greater than it is right at this moment. You can take that money and not buy a house, because I'll smack you, but a deal that you're already buying at 90% of value or better, maybe much lower if you can buy well, right? You're investing a little bit into fixing it up, and you're turning it into a rental property, and all of it was done by the appreciation in the home you live in right now. Literally, money sitting there in equity available to you that you're giving me excuses on why you can't use it right now. Well, what if we lose the house? Then you'll buy another house, right? I gotta be frank with you, man. If I can leverage all of my properties, there was a time where they were doing 125% mortgages. They haven't started up on that yet, but let me tell you what 125% mortgage is. They took the value of the property and they gave you 25% more than it was worth. And I remember back then going, who would be that stupid? Kicking myself? No. Right? The liquidity that would have provided could have bought me into a lot more houses back then.
Right.
All of which that have gone up 30, 40, 50% since that point. Like my creme de la creme, my crown jewel is a property I purchased for $436, not quite 10 years ago. That's worth a little over $1 million today. And because I've been paying on it for 10 years, no, I should take that back. It's been rented out for 6 of those years, right? So somebody else has been paying on it for 10 years. I owe like $280 on that property today, and it's worth damn near $1 million. Do you think I wish I'd done a couple more of those? Hell yeah, I do. Right? So the reality is that equity that's sitting alone and untapped is exactly where you should be positioning your foray into real estate investing. Now, here's a concern, okay? Most people come to me and go, Donnie, I've got equity. I really want to do that, but I don't want to invest my equity, my life savings, as it were, into something I don't fully understand. Okay, and I don't want to turn this to a long coaching pitch, but that's kind of where I come in. In the end, I would totally advise you not to tap your equity and go speculate in the real estate market, especially if you don't know what the hell you're doing. Okay, and the reality is most people don't know what the hell they're doing. Okay, you got, just like the stock market, just like cryptocurrency, which is taking on, you got a lot of speculators in the market. Okay, you ever played poker with a guy who doesn't fully understand poker? Right? And then he goes all in, right? And he managed to land like trip threes on the final. Like, I got you. Now that's gambling, dog. What are you doing? Nobody wants to play with that guy. Right? Same applies to the real estate, crypto market, anything. You got a bunch of people in the game right now who haven't the slightest idea why they're making money. I'll be frank with you and tell you that in the crypto market, I'm that guy, right? I can't even tell you why I'm buying certain coins that I'm buying. I'm just doing it because it makes sense to put the money somewhere other than real estate because I want to diversify some of my portfolio into crypto. Okay. And you got a ton of speculators in the real estate space right now. And as a result of all that speculation, and you got big speculators, you got Zillow out there buying properties over market value because they are speculating that it's going to continue to go up. And so far, they've been 100% right. Even overpaying by 10%, they're catching up a year later.
Well, yeah, for sure. That makes perfect sense.
Right? So you got billion-dollar speculators in the market right now. Are you a $100,000 speculator? Do you have $50,000, $60,000 in equity that you're not using right now because you're scared? I got to tell you, if you're equity rich, now's the time. Okay, because you're not going to be equity rich forever. The reality of a real estate market, I know I've been saying this for 2 years, and I know you guys have been listening to the Foreclosure Just Coach podcast, and I've been yelling at you, the sky is going to fall eventually. I've been Chicken Little for 2 years, but I'm telling you, I'm not wrong. I've been talking about it way too early. Okay, but here's the thing: a broken clock is right twice a day, and my day is coming. Right, the market is going to shift. We are going to see a significant decrease in property values. What is significant? Well, 12%. Right? 12% was significant back then. That's what Colorado Springs saw, right? So that may not be a big deal if you're already up 50, 60%. You've got some play money there. And that's how you have to look at it. You're not gambling with your family's future. Rather, if you don't do this, you're gambling with your family's future wealth. And that's the idea behind the coaching product, is to help you shift your mindset from one of protection. I'm not telling you to go out and bet it all on black, Wesley Snipes. Okay, that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about doing good investments into real estate projects right there in your neighborhood and converting them to rentals, flips, or Airbnb, which is blowing away any sort of returns we could have guesstimated in real estate. If we had speculated 10 years ago and known what those properties could do today, I would have bought 20 more of them and had Airbnbs on all of them right now and been done. You feel me? So you can't sit on the sidelines too much longer, okay? So how do you get involved? Well, number one, you need a good guide. You need an advisor in this, because if not, you're going to invest based on emotion, and all emotional investing is fundamentally wrong, okay? You got to be logical about this. You got to take the emotion out and go, what's the right financial move? And that's so difficult when you're playing with your household equity, right? So my advice is you hire a coach. Now, obviously, I want that coach to be me, because this is my show and you're listening to it. But if it's not me, get somebody else who can help you through it. But I can tell you, I've been coaching people who would not have tapped their equity at all for years, and I've converted that equity into multiples of what it was before by helping them to see past their reservations and make moves that felt a little weird at the time, but worked out in the end. Were we lucky? Yeah. I don't think luck factors in. I think about 15, 18 years of experience, let's say 300 plus flips in my career, being a real estate agent for 15 years, doing several hundred transactions. I think all that adds into no luck, but rather incredible amounts of skill on my part. But there's still a factor of luck, I suppose, right? The point is you need help to do it. Number two, you got to get your money right, as Kanye would tell us, right? Wait till I get my money right.
It's right now for Kanye.
He's got his money.
This dude's written out the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta to finish an album, the whole stadium.
That's hot.
What?
Gotta hand it. I ain't saying he's a gold digger. He ain't messing with no broke. All right, listen. You got to do something, though. And you guys tune into this show. We see the downloads, a couple thousand downloads a week, et cetera. People are checking out the show in pretty high droves. Listen, you're listening, but are you acting? And that's the thing. The coaching product is designed to help you go from listening to a state of action, because we're going to listen to your exact situation where you're at right now and advise you on the best move to tap that equity, whether it's a HELOC, a full refinance, or et cetera. We're going to evaluate it objectively, which you simply can't do because you're inside of it and you're nervous and you're scared. Okay, so you're hiring somebody to advise you, and I can promise you one trade, one solid investment is going to pay multiples of what the coaching product costs you. So for me, it's an absolute no-brainer to make that investment. but obviously I'm biased. Okay, so you got to do what's right for you. We can help you with that in one consultation call. We have a sit down. We go over what the coaching will entail specific to your situation, our 4-part strategy for finding, funding, fixing, and flipping your first property into whatever exit strategy you're looking for, be that flipping for income, be that renting it out as passive income, or be that Airbnb-ing it for massive passive income, but more management. Right? We're going to walk you through those steps and help you to become a real estate investor, but you got to tap that equity because you're sitting on available resources that you're simply not willing to use right now. You know? So that's the conversation I want to have. I want to sit down and chat with some people this week about their future in real estate investing. Do me a favor. If that describes you, reach out to Jonathan Winston, executive producer of the show. Let's have a conversation about if real estate investing with a foreclosure deals coach program is right for you. Let me get something straight right now, though. I'm not a mentor, okay? I'm not here to teach you what I do. You want some of that mess, you need to go talk to Than Merrill or yada, yada. Anybody can sell y'all information, okay? That's easy, and it's stupid expensive, and a lot of it's valuable, but most of it's just going to be, you're going to spend $20,000 on Rich Dad, Poor Dad just to let it sit there, gather dust on your shelf in your office. Okay, I don't do that nonsense. I'm a coach, and that means I'm going to walk you through every step of it, and then I'm going to make sure you do it, right? If you're ready for that level of accountability in your real estate investing career, then I'm your guy. Now is the time, and the equity in the home you're probably in right now is exactly where we need to get started, okay? So that's our show for today. Listen, I hope we motivated you. The idea behind all this yelling and stuff and carrying on is I need to be excited so you'll get excited about investing in real estate, right? Because if you're not excited about changing your life through investment, then I've missed the mark and you're not going to do anything. But if you are excited, let's get started. With that, this is Donnie Corum, your foreclosure deals coach, thanking you so much for tuning in yet again and reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.
Want more of the Foreclosure Deals Coach? Hit subscribe and stay tuned for more of the mindset, methodology, and tools you'll need to invest in foreclosures. Visit foreclosuredealscoach.com and text DEAL to get a list of foreclosures in your area.